Tonight, we're not telling stories. We're digging into the 10 real principles hidden in the world's most powerful books about money. Principles that turned ordinary people into the richest on earth. Close your eyes. Listen carefully. One idea from this video could permanently change your financial future. In 1908, Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, invited a young journalist named Napoleon Hill to his mansion. After hours of conversation, Carnegie leaned forward and made a challenge that would change Hill's life forever. He said, "If you are willing to dedicate the next 20 years of your life to studying the most successful people in the world, I will open the doors for you. Discover how they became wealthy and share it with anyone who has the courage to listen." Hill accepted, and over the next 2 decades, he personally interviewed more than 500 millionaires and industry leaders. Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Alexander Graham Bell, John D. Rockefeller, the most powerful and influential innovators of that era. His mission was simple: find the common code of success. The result of that journey is one of the most important books ever written on wealth, Think and Grow Rich. Hill begins with a bold statement. The starting point of all achievement is desire. He explains that most people only wish to be successful, but wishing is weak. The truly wealthy treat success almost as an obligation, a decision, something that must happen, not something that might happen. He tells the story of Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC. At age 65, with only $105 from his retirement pension, he went door to door offering his chicken recipe. He was rejected 1,009 times before someone finally agreed. Most people lose hope after just a few rejections. He kept going until he won. That wasn't motivation, that was obsession. Hill reveals a 6-step method to turn desire into reality. First, decide the exact amount of money you want. Not a lot of money, but a precise number. Second, determine what you are willing to give in return. Time, work, learning, nothing comes without exchange. Third, set a clear deadline. Fourth, create a plan and begin right away, whether you feel ready or not. Fifth, write your goal and plan clearly on paper. And sixth, read it out loud twice every day, once in the morning and once at night, believing it will happen. He explains that by doing this, your subconscious mind begins working silently toward your goal. The more you repeat it, the more your beliefs grow. As he writes, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Hill also discovered that before wealth is achieved on the outside, it must first be planted in the mind. Today, top performers in business and sports visualize their success before they experience it. Hill was teaching this over 80 years ago. But desire alone is not enough. You must be prepared to face failure. According to Hill, temporary defeat is not failure. It is simply a test. He reminds us that Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times while trying to invent the light bulb. When asked about his failures, Edison replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Most people quit after one setback. The wealthy continue until the door opens. Another powerful idea in the book is the concept of the mastermind. Hill noticed that nearly all the wealthy individuals he interviewed worked closely with a small group of like-minded people who pushed them forward, challenged their thinking, and worked together on solutions. He believed that when 2 or more minds work in harmony toward a definite purpose, a third, invisible force of intelligence is created. He concludes that many people fail simply because they fear making their own decisions. Wealthy individuals make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Average people take too long to decide and rarely commit long enough to see results. In the end, Hill's message is clear. Riches begin not in your bank account, but in your thinking. Success is not accidental. It is created by desire, belief, consistent action, and persistence. Most people wait for motivation. Successful people act even when motivation is not present. If you truly want to become wealthy, write your goal. Read it every morning and every night. Work toward it daily. Never stop after failure. Trust your decision and surround yourself with people who inspire growth, not comfort. If even 1% of you believes that this method can work, pause now and write your goal, because the moment you do, your journey begins. When you're ready, let's move to Chapter 2.
Chapter 2. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert T. Kiyosaki. He was only 9 years old when his real father told him, "Study hard, get good grades, find a secure job." But the man who changed his financial destiny wasn't his biological father at all. Robert Kiyosaki calls them Poor Dad and Rich Dad. Both men were intelligent. Both were hardworking, but their beliefs about money were completely opposite. One taught him to play it safe. The other taught him to think like an owner. Kiyosaki learned that poverty and wealth do not begin with the size of a salary, but with how a person thinks about money. His poor dad believed money is the root of all evil. Good education leads to good jobs. Don't take risks. Work for money. His rich dad believed lack of money is the root of all evil. Financial education leads to freedom. Safe choices often mean trapped lives. And the rich don't work for money, money works for them. Kiyosaki observed how his poor dad, with university degrees and a government job, struggled financially all his life. Meanwhile, his rich dad, an entrepreneur with no formal higher education, became one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii. The most powerful concept from the book is the difference between assets and liabilities. Poor people buy liabilities they think are assets. Rich people collect assets that generate income. For example, most people believe that buying a house is an asset. But if it continually takes money from your pocket through mortgage payments, taxes, maintenance, it's not an asset. Rich people invest in things that put money into their pocket, such as businesses, rental properties, intellectual property rights, or dividends from stocks. Kiyosaki makes one thing extremely clear. Your job is not to make you rich. Your assets will. He also introduces the concept of escaping the rat race, the endless cycle of working for a paycheck, spending it, then working again just to survive. He says that most people work their entire lives to make money, while the rich spend time building systems that generate cash flow, even when they're not working. He writes, "The poor and middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them." Kiyosaki emphasizes that the most valuable asset you will ever own is your mind. If it is well trained financially, it can create wealth almost anywhere. If not, even a high income can disappear quickly. Another critical lesson from the book is escaping calculated risk. Most people avoid risk, which often keeps them in financial stagnation. Rich Dad taught him that taking informed risks is part of financial growth. He says, winners are not afraid of losing. Failure is simply part of the process. People who avoid failure also avoid success. He also warns against relying on only one source of income. The rich build multiple streams so that if one fails, the others sustain their lifestyle. To summarize his philosophy, spend less on luxuries until your assets can pay for them. Invest in financial education more than formal education. Work to learn, not just to earn. Build, buy, or invest in things that produce recurring cash flow. And most importantly, never let fear stop you from learning how money truly works. Robert Kiyosaki ends with a message that challenges conventional belief. He says, "You're not poor because of your circumstances. You're poor because of your decisions." Mindset gave you the direction in Chapter 1. This chapter gives you the map. From this point onward, the way you look at money will never be the same again. When you're ready, we move to Chapter 3.
Chapter 3. The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. In ancient Babylon, the wealthiest empire of its time, lived a man known across the land as the richest of all. His name was Arcad. But he was not born rich, nor did he inherit wealth. He started as a humble scribe, copying records for a small wage while watching merchants, traders, and landowners accumulate fortunes. One day, he asked himself, "Why do I work as hard as they do, yet stay poor?" He approached a wealthy moneylender named Algamish and asked, "How can I become rich like you?" Algamish gave him a simple answer, one that would become the foundation of personal finance principles for centuries. He said, "Start thy purse to fattening. For every 10 coins you earn, save 1. That was rule number 1. Pay yourself first. At least 10% of everything you earn, keep it before you spend anything else. Arcad followed the advice. His income was small, but he made sure that at least 1 coin out of 10 remained with him. As weeks passed, he saw his savings grow, but savings alone do not create wealth. Algamish returned and taught him lesson number 2. Make your gold multiply. In today's terms, invest your savings wisely so that it begins creating passive income even while you sleep. He explains that money is like a worker. When you save it, that worker rests. But when you invest it correctly, that worker begins hiring other workers for you. But the city was full of examples of people who lost their savings. This led to the 3rd principle. Guard thy treasures from loss. In modern words, invest only in things you understand. Avoid promises of high returns from people with no proven record. If someone cannot explain clearly how the money is made, walk away. Arcad learned that wealth has little to do with income and everything to do with discipline. He says, "A man's wealth is not in the money he carries in his purse. It is in the income he builds that keeps flowing even after he stops working." The book introduces 7 timeless rules of wealth. 1. Start saving at least 10% of all income, no matter how small.
2. Control spending. Avoid unnecessary expenses. If your expenses always rise with your income, you will never become rich. 3. Invest wisely to grow your money. 4. Avoid get-rich-quick schemes. 5. Own your home instead of renting endlessly. 6. Plan for the future, including protection for loved ones. And 7. Continue learning and increasing your earning ability. The most profound message from the book is this: wealth is not about resources, it is about habits. Even if someone earns very little, saving consistently and investing patiently builds fortune over time. Babylon was rebuilt many times, yet its financial principles still stand strong today. The book ends by reminding us that opportunity does not wait for hesitation. Arcad says, "Those who take small, orderly steps towards riches, even if slow, will arrive sooner than the man who begins with a sprint and quits in exhaustion." Saving 10% may look small, but over a lifetime, it builds freedom, and freedom is the ultimate wealth. You now know the mindset from Chapter 1. You learned how money truly works in Chapter 2. And in this chapter, you discovered the discipline required to build wealth, even from nothing. When you're ready, we move to Chapter 4.
Chapter 4. The Millionaire Next Door. Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko. In the mid-1990s, two researchers decided to investigate a mystery. Why do some people with ordinary jobs quietly retire wealthy, while others with high salaries live paycheck to paycheck? Thomas Stanley and William D. Danko spent years studying more than 1,000 millionaires across America. They expected to find luxury cars, expensive houses, and glamorous lifestyles. They were shocked. Most millionaires did not live in lavish mansions or drive exotic cars. They were not celebrities, not born rich. Many owned small businesses, worked as teachers, mechanics, shop owners, accountants, engineers. They lived in average neighborhoods, drove used cars, shopped with caution, and built wealth quietly. The authors call them the Millionaire Next Door. Their research discovered 7 key traits shared by most self-made millionaires. First, they live well below their means. Not because they're poor, but because they value financial independence over status. As one millionaire said, "Wealth is what you don't see. Luxuries are what drain it." Second, they allocate time and money efficiently. They plan, budget, and think long-term. They don't chase trends, they build foundations. Third, they believe financial security matters more than appearing rich. Many high-income individuals go broke trying to look successful. Millionaires focus on staying successful. Fourth, they rarely depend on parental financial help. In fact, the book reveals that receiving money from parents often slows down wealth building. Self-made millionaires prefer discipline over dependency. Fifth, they choose professions that enable wealth accumulation. Not jobs that simply pay high salaries, but paths that provide control, ownership, or investment opportunity. Sixth, their spouse supports and participates in long-term financial planning. The majority of millionaires have strong family financial alignment. And seventh, they teach their children financial responsibility
instead of lifestyle inflation. The book highlights a powerful case of two neighbors. One spent every dollar he earned to show success: luxury cars, expensive suits, high-status dinners. The other lived simply, invested his savings, bought rental properties, and reinvested returns. By the time they reached retirement age, the first was in debt. The second was a multimillionaire. The message is clear. You don't need to earn $1 million to become a millionaire. You need to keep $1 million. One of the most striking findings was this: the average self-made millionaire spent less than 10% of their income on luxury items. They invested first and bought luxury only when their assets paid for it. They understand that financial status is silent. Debt is loud. Stanley and Danko conclude with a powerful truth. Most people are not broke because of low income. They are broke because of high spending and low asset growth. You might see wealthy people driving expensive cars, but the real wealthy may be parking next to you driving something modest. True financial power is not visible. It is stable, quiet, and disciplined. After today, when you see someone living extravagantly, ask not what they drive, but what drives them financially. We have now covered mindset, financial intelligence, and disciplined wealth habits. In the next chapter, we enter deeper into the world of investing, the strategies used by some of the greatest financial minds. When you're ready, we move to Chapter 5.
Chapter 5. The Intelligent Investor, Benjamin Graham. You may believe that investing is risky. Benjamin Graham would disagree. He once said, "The real risk is not knowing what you're doing with your money." This book is not about getting rich overnight. It is about getting rich and never losing it. Published in 1949, The Intelligent Investor became the foundation for long-term wealth. It transformed a young Warren Buffett, who later said, "Reading this book made me rich." This chapter is not about hype. It is about survival and multiplication. Graham discovered a powerful truth. Most investors lose money not because of bad investments, but because of bad emotions. The enemy is not the market. The enemy is greed and fear. Lesson 1. Protect before you grow. Never chase high returns without protecting your capital. The intelligent investor focuses first on avoiding major losses. Lesson 2. The difference between an investor and a speculator. Speculators gamble in the hope of earning quickly. Investors buy assets known for long-term value. One chases excitement, the other builds wealth. Lesson 3. The margin of safety. Invest only when the price is far below the true value. It is like buying a $100 note for $70. Even if you are wrong, you are protected. Lesson 4. The story of Mr. Market. Imagine the market as an emotional person who offers you stocks every day. Some days he's depressed and sells them cheap. Some days he's excited and demands a high price. Your job is not to react emotionally. Your job is to act only when the value is in your favor. Lesson 5. 2 types of investors. Defensive or passive investor. Enterprising or active investor. Low effort, slow and safe growth. High effort, higher reward. Uses index funds or bonds. Researches and analyzes deeply. Few mistakes, more opportunities. Ideal for average investor. Ideal for skilled investors. According to Graham,
most people should choose the defensive investor path. Graham warns about the get-rich-quickly trap. People trying to get rich fast often get poor fast. Real wealth is built like a fortress, brick by brick. He says, to be wealthy, think like an owner, not a trader. Invest in assets that produce income, not in trends that simply move. Most people panic when the market falls, but intelligent investors buy more. Because when things go on sale, you do not run out of the store, you buy. Graham concludes, an intelligent investor is not the one who beats the market, but the one who controls his emotions and avoids being beaten by it. To become truly wealthy, master patience and discipline. The market rewards the calm and punishes the impulsive. We have covered mindset, cash flow intelligence, financial discipline, and investment rationality. But the journey is far from over, because in the next chapter, we explore what happens when money begins to multiply, not through luck, but through compounding. Chapter 6, The Millionaire Next Door, by Dr. Thomas J. Stanley and Dr. William D. Danko. Most people imagine a millionaire living in a mansion, driving luxury cars, wearing designer suits. But, according to Dr. Thomas J. Stanley, most real millionaires are invisible. They live quiet lives. They don't show off wealth because that's how they became wealthy. In their extensive study, they discovered a shocking truth. More than 80% of millionaires are self-made. Nearly 90% live below their means. Most do not buy expensive cars or branded watches. They invest their money instead of displaying it. Lesson 1. Wealth is not about income. It is about behavior. One man may earn $300,000 a year, but spend $295,000. Another may earn $70,000, but invest $25,000 every year. Guess who becomes wealthy? Millionaires are not high spenders. They are disciplined savers and long-term investors. Lesson 2. PAW versus UAW. The book classifies people in two types. PAW, prodigious accumulator of wealth. UAW, under-accumulator of wealth. Lives below means, lives at or above income level. Invests consistently, spends emotionally. Freedom over lifestyle, lifestyle over freedom. To be truly rich, you must become a PAW. Lesson 3. They don't care about impressing others. Most millionaires drive modest cars like Toyota or Honda. They wear normal clothes. They live in average neighborhoods. Why? Because every dollar saved produces two benefits. 1. It keeps your money safe. 2. It becomes capital to grow more money. The book states, you are not wealthy if you cannot maintain your lifestyle without working. Wealth is freedom, not appearance. Lesson 4. Financial independence over social acceptance. This is the mindset. I don't spend to look rich. I save to become rich. They focus on assets, stocks, real estate, businesses. They avoid unnecessary liabilities like car upgrades, luxury gadgets, expensive parties. While others try to look rich, they try to stay rich. A story from the book. Researchers visited a millionaire for an interview, expecting luxury. Instead, they found simple furniture, a basic car parked outside. During the interview, he asked, "Can we order lunch?" They assumed something extravagant. He opened his fridge, pulled out a homemade sandwich, and said, "This is how I stay rich." Lesson 6. Children of wealthy parents often become poor. Why? Because wealthy parents often over-support their children. This creates dependence, not discipline. But millionaires who remain wealthy teach their children, work first, reward later, spend after investment. Never live for image, live for independence. Lesson 7. Typical millionaire formula. Live on 70% of income, invest 20%, save 10% for emergencies. Repeat this for 10 to 15 years and wealth is guaranteed. Final message from this chapter. Becoming wealthy is not a secret, it is a habit. Real millionaires don't look rich, they are rich. And now, after learning how ordinary people quietly build extraordinary wealth, it's time to explore what transforms money into power. Because in the next chapter, we cover a book that explains the difference between earning money and commanding influence. Chapter 7 begins where money... Chapter 7. Based on the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. The original 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is protected by copyright, so what you are about to hear is not a direct replication. Instead, we have extracted the most powerful principles, reworded and simplified, focusing only on those most relevant to building and protecting wealth in real life. Close your eyes. Listen carefully. Power is not about strength. It is about strategy. You may become rich, but if you fail to understand power, someone else will use your success against you. Robert Greene studied kings, emperors, business magnates, and military strategists. He discovered one truth. Quote, "Money gives you comfort. Power gives you control." Unquote. This chapter reveals how successful people protect their wealth, reputation, and influence, not through force, but through psychology, timing, and understanding human nature. Law 1. Never outshine the master. Many people rise fast and start showing off. They unintentionally threaten those above them. Result, they get pushed down or removed. Greene teaches, quote, "Make others feel superior. Let them believe they are in control. That is how you rise without resistance." Unquote. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Powerful individuals move silently. They reveal their plans only after they succeed. If people do not know your direction, they cannot block your path. The wealthy rarely announce their goals. They move strategically, then shock the world. Law 6. Court attention at all cost. To stay relevant, you must not disappear. Visibility creates value. This is why brands like Apple, Tesla, and Amazon dominate. It's not just what they sell, it's how they capture attention. But attention must be controlled. Too much and it becomes weakness. Too little and you're forgotten. Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. In business and negotiations, half wins invite future attacks. When you solve a problem or defeat a threat, remove it fully. Greene explains through history. When leaders left enemies wounded instead of finished, they later faced greater destruction. Law 30. Make achievement look effortless. People respect clean victories. They admire those who win without appearing desperate, like a chess player who checkmates without showing panic. In real life, this means work hard privately, deliver confidently, let results speak. Law 40. Despise the free lunch. Successful people understand that everything has a cost. They don't accept unearned gifts, favors, or shortcuts. Why? Because with every gift comes an obligation. Robert Greene writes, quote, "What is offered free is dangerous. It usually involves a hidden obligation. Pay your own way to stay free." Unquote. One small mistake, and power can turn against you. Many rich celebrities lose their fame. Many successful entrepreneurs get replaced. Why? They ignored power dynamics. This is why Greene warns, quote, "Power is like a knife. In the right hands, it feeds you. In the wrong hands, it destroys you." Unquote. Here is Chapter 7a, based on the 48 Laws of Power, summarized, simplified, and legally safe. Chapter 7a, Enduring Principles of Power. You've learned how people become rich, but now it's time to learn how they stay rich. Money builds influence. Influence builds power. But power without wisdom is a slow form of self-destruction. The concepts in this chapter are adapted from The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, not copied, but simplified, summarized, and selected to help you protect your success. First, Principles 1 through 5. Quote, "Rise without creating fear in more powerful people. Don't reveal your full intentions. Silent moves win against loud ambition. Control emotions, especially under pressure. Power belongs to those who remain calm when others panic. Let results speak, not your effort. Never show desperation. Success must appear effortless. Protect your reputation more than your wealth. Money lost can be made again. Reputation lost is gone forever." Story break. The Silent Strategist. A successful entrepreneur once said, "I won not because I shouted louder. I won because I spoke last." The strongest voice in the room is often the quietest one. Next, Principles next through 10. Learn to withdraw if necessary. A strategic retreat is not surrender, it is preparation. Make others rely on you. If people need you, they will protect you. Avoid unnecessary arguments. Win through actions, not words. Keep conversations focused on others. Let people talk more. Information is your greatest weapon. Never commit to anyone fully. Stay independent. Commitment is power. Use it carefully. Next, Principles 11 through 15. Act more capable than you reveal. Show what is necessary. Hide everything else. Win through patience. A fast victory often ends in a faster defeat. Observe people deeply. Most mistakes are made by trusting the wrong person. Offer choices that still favor you. True power is giving freedom that guides toward your desired result. Don't depend on luck. Depend on calculation. Success without planning is a future failure. Next, Principles 16 through 20. Timing is everything. Powerful people don't react. They wait. Separate from the crowd to gain respect. If you follow too closely, you will never lead. Make yourself unpredictable.
A predictable person is easy to manipulate. Understand motives, not words. Listen to what people do, not what they say. Never appear desperate. Neediness is the enemy of influence. Next, principles 21 through 25. Control the narrative. Tell your story before others tell it for you. Avoid unnecessary help. Dependency is dangerous. If you must strike, strike completely. When dealing with betrayal or major threats, handle it once and decisively. Transform weakness into unpredictability. Confusion in others increases your advantage. Never stop learning how people think. Power is not about control, it is about understanding. To grow wealth is one thing, to protect it is another. These 25 principles represent the core defenses of power. In the next chapter, we go deeper into strategies used by leaders, negotiators, and empire builders. The rules they use not only to protect, but to dominate.
Chapter 7b, Advanced Power Strategies. Based on the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, simplified and adapted. Only for those prepared to lead. The previous 25 principles helped you survive and protect your success. These next principles are meant to help you expand your influence, negotiate like the elite, and play the long-term game of power with precision. Power is not just about defense. It is about strategy, anticipation, and controlling direction. Principle 26. Keep people chasing your approval. If they seek your validation, they become easier to influence. Principle 27. Use calculated generosity to disarm people. A small favor creates silent obligation. Principle 28. Speak less than necessary. Silence forces others to reveal more than intended. Principle 30. Win mind share before market share. In negotiation, perception is more valuable than the offer. Principle 34. Win mind share before market share. In negotiation, perception is more valuable than the offer. Principle 30. Create momentum. Don't force outcomes. Push too hard and you trigger resistance. Guide instead. Principle 31. Make others feel they came up with the idea. People protect what they believe is their own. Principle 32. Identify weak spots in competitors before attacking. Winning without resistance is true victory. Principle 33. Master the art of subtle persuasion. Influence without command is far more sustainable. Principle 34. Use absence strategically. When you disappear, your value increases. Principle 35. Appear as if you belong to the elite, even if you're still rising. People treat you according to how you present yourself. Strategic insight. A billionaire once said, "I dressed for the position I wanted before I had it. Soon enough, people believed I belonged there." That is not deception. That is direction. Principle 36. Do not engage with petty battles. Small opponents drain energy meant for major wins. Principle 37. Control how you are perceived through consistent behavior. Your habits become your power identity. Principle 38. Use mystery to maintain intrigue. Predictability creates boredom. Boredom weakens impact. Principle 39. Preframe setbacks as strategic. If others think you're losing, they'll try to dominate. Make them believe it's intentional. When people think you've reached your limit, you become replaceable. Remain a work in progress, always expanding.
Wealth makes you visible. Wisdom keeps you respected. Power decides how long you remain relevant. With these adapted principles, you've just entered a new arena. An arena where people don't just chase wealth, they command direction. But there is one final risk. Power without emotional control becomes self-destruction.
Chapter 8. The Psychology of Wealth. Based on The Psychology of Money by Housel. Interpreted and reworded. Some people earn millions and lose it in months. Others earn slowly and never go broke. Why does this happen? Because money is not just about numbers. It is about behavior, your emotions, your patience, your decision-making. Today, we enter the mind, because your bank balance is not controlled by your income. It is controlled by how you think. Housel studied millionaires, investors, and failures. He discovered one shocking truth. Intelligence doesn't guarantee wealth. Qualifications don't guarantee wealth. Even luck doesn't guarantee wealth. What matters most is how you behave with money. Number 1. Money grows with patience, not speed. People want fast success and quick returns, but real wealth happens slowly. Compounding takes time. Rich people think in decades. Poor people think in days. Number 2. Your behavior is more important than your knowledge. Many people know what to do, but very few actually do it consistently. Controlling your emotions is more powerful than predicting markets or opportunities. Number 3. Saving money is more important than earning more money. You could earn $10,000 every month, but if you spend $9,800, you are only $200 away from disaster. Wealth is not created by income. It is created by the gap between income and expenses. Number 4. Avoid lifestyle inflation. When most people start making more money, they upgrade their lifestyle. The wealthy upgrade their assets first and their lifestyle later. Freedom before luxury. Number 5. Getting rich and staying rich are two different skills. Getting rich requires taking risks. Staying rich requires managing risks. The biggest reason people lose wealth is overconfidence. Number 6. Luck is real, but so is discipline. Success often has timing involved, but the only thing that keeps success alive is consistency. Never rely only on being lucky. Rely on being prepared. Number 7. Your financial strategy must match your personal timeline. Do not copy other people blindly. Their life, their risk level, and their goals are different from yours. Build your strategy around your timeline. Number 8. Accept discomfort. Markets drop, businesses fail, plans change. Most people panic and exit at the worst time. The wealthy understand that short-term discomfort leads to long-term growth. Number 9. Do not try to win big. Just avoid losing big. One bad decision can destroy the result of 10 smart ones. Play defense as strongly as offense. Number 10. True wealth is almost invisible. The richest decisions are made quietly.
If your success depends on people noticing it, you have already lost the most important part of being wealthy: security. Your financial life is a reflection of your mindset, not your salary, not your education, not even your talent, but your discipline. Summary, action points. Think long-term. Save before spending. Control your emotions. Avoid unnecessary risks. Be patient. Do not copy others. Focus on protection more than exhibition. Build freedom, not lifestyle. Transition to next chapter. The next chapter will answer a dangerous question. What do you do when the world turns against you? When the economy crashes? When your business fails? When everything you worked for is at risk? Because wealth without resilience is only temporary.
Chapter 9: Surviving Crisis and Adapting to Change. Inspired by principles and Ray Dalio's approach to decision-making, risk, and economic cycles. In a world that changes faster every year, success is not defined by how often you win, but by how quickly you adapt when you lose. Ray Dalio spent decades studying markets, economies, and human decision-making. He discovered that the people and organizations that survive severe shocks share a common trait. They have principles, systems, and humility. This chapter is a practical guide to surviving crises, the financial, emotional, and strategic storms that can wipe out fortunes overnight. Number 1. Embrace reality, then deal with it. The first rule of surviving a crisis is simple. Face reality clearly. Ignore wishful thinking. If your industry is shrinking, don't pretend it's stable. If a core assumption is false, change it. Dalio stresses that clarity about reality is the foundation of good decisions. Denial is the silent killer of empires. Number 2. Pain plus reflection equals progress. When things go wrong, don't flee the pain, study it. Ask, why did this happen? What assumptions failed? What did I miss? Turn every painful loss into a lesson. This formula, pain plus honest reflection, is the engine of growth. Number 3. Systematize decisions. Build principles, not impulses. Top performers don't rely on inspiration alone. They build repeatable procedures, checklists, rules of thumb, and decision trees. When a crisis hits, rely on your system, not on panic. Dalio calls these principles, tested rules that guide choices independent of mood or headlines. Number 4. Diversification and the all-weather mindset. One reason many fail in crises is concentration. Putting everything in one asset, one idea, or one person multiplies risk. The intelligent approach is to diversify across assets, scenarios, and timeframes so that no single collapse destroys you. Dalio's practical idea: construct portfolios and plans that can withstand varied economic conditions: inflation, deflation, growth, recession. Translate that to life. Diversify income streams, skills, and relationships. Number 5. Believability-weighted decision-making. Not all opinions are equal. When stakes are high, listen to people with proven track records in the exact problem you face. Give their views more weight. Combine perspectives, but weight them by demonstrated ability to be right. This avoids both groupthink and the arrogance of single-person rule. Number 6. Stress test your plans. Before you commit, imagine extreme outcomes. What happens if demand falls by 50%? What if credit dries up? Run worst-case scenarios and ensure you can survive them. If you can't, change course now. The best leaders make decisions that look boring until a crisis proves them wise. Number 7, maintain liquidity and optionality. In calm markets, leverage looks brilliant. In crises, it kills. Preserve liquidity, cash, credit lines, optional contracts, so you can act when others are forced to sell. Optionality is freedom to capitalize on rare opportunities. Number 8, iterate quickly. Small bets, rapid feedback. Don't try to perfect a plan in private. Make small, reversible moves, measure results, and iterate quickly. This reduces downside and accelerates learning. Number 9, culture of radical truth and transparency. Organizations that survive and thrive encourage direct feedback, honest debate, and the removal of ego from decisions. When people can speak truth to power, mistakes get caught earlier. When mistakes stay secret, they grow until they are fatal. Number 10, prepare mentally for uncertainty. Crises are not only financial, they're also psychological. Build routines that keep your judgment intact. Sleep, exercise, time to reflect. Avoid decisions made under acute stress. Preserve your capacity to think. Number 11, recognize economic cycles. Position accordingly. History shows economies move in cycles. Boom, euphoria, deflation or inflation, bust, rebuilding. Understand where you are in the cycle and position your assets and plans accordingly. This doesn't require perfect prediction. It requires humility and scenario planning. Number 12, convert principles into playbooks. Translate the above ideas into concrete actions, emergency budgets, stop-loss rules, contingent hiring freezes, automatic diversification rebalancing. Turn abstract wisdom into operational steps you and your team follow automatically. Quick practical checklist. Face reality. Be brutally honest about your situation. After a loss, record 3 lessons and 1 action you'll take next. Maintain 6 to 12 months of liquidity where possible. Spread risk, multiple income sources, varied assets. Use believability-weighted advice for big calls. Run stress tests quarterly. Make small, reversible experiments before large commitments. Build a culture where truth matters more than comfort. Closing thought. Crises will come. They always have. The difference between those who collapse and those who lead is not luck. It's preparation. It's principled thinking. It's humility in the face of complexity. Ray Dalio's central lesson is a simple one. Don't be attached to being right. Be attached to finding what works. When you do that, you survive. When you survive long enough, you win. When you're ready, we move to Chapter 10, a finale that combines strategy, psychology, and daily habits into a practical blueprint for lasting wealth.
Chapter 10, The Daily Blueprint of the Self-Made Millionaire. Most people fail not because they lack knowledge or intelligence, but because they lack consistent actions. This chapter is not about big decisions. It's about small, daily habits repeated enough to shape destiny. 1. Wealth is built in boring moments. Big breakthroughs are the result of tiny, repeated actions. James Clear calls this habit compounding. Just as money compounds, discipline compounds. Quote, "Wealth is not earned on the day you make a big trade. It is earned on the countless mornings you wake up early, study the market, improve your skills, and avoid shortcuts. 2. Identity over goals. The poor aim to get rich. The wealthy aim to become the kind of person who creates wealth. Example. Don't say, "I want to write a book." Say, "I am a writer. I write every day." Don't say, "I want to be financially free." Say, "I am an investor. I build assets, not liabilities." Identity precedes results. Action confirms identity. 3. The 1% advantage rule. Do one thing just 1% better every day. Improve your pitch, your knowledge, your network, your discipline. This 1% growth per day is plus 3,700% per year. That's how average people outperform geniuses. 4. Design systems, not dreams. Goals may motivate you, but systems determine outcomes. Quote, "If I only chase a number, $1 million, I may lose motivation. But if I create a system, invest 20% of income monthly, launch one new product quarterly, read 30 minutes daily, I will become wealthy even if the goal changes." 5. Create or scale, don't trade time. The Millionaire Fast Lane Principle. Poor work to earn. Middle class save to earn. Wealthy create to earn. Most people remain stuck because they exchange time for money. Millionaires leverage digital products, investments, automation, systems, and teams. 6. Master input, not output. You can't control sales, but you can control outreach. You can't control income, but you can control productivity. Instead of asking, "Why am I not making money?" ask, "Did I build the skills, the network, the product that deserves money?" Earn the right to receive. 7. Habit stacking for wealth. Here's a simplified daily routine of high performers. You can display it on screen. Time, action, purpose. 5 to 7 a.m. Wake up, exercise. Discipline and energy. 7 to 8 a.m. Study finance or business. Skill development. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Focus on high-impact work. Income growth. 1 to 3 p.m. Build systems, automation, outsourcing. Scalability. 3 to 6 p.m. Networking or strategic planning. Opportunities. Before sleep, read/reflect. Compounding wisdom. 8. Track progress, not perfection. Most quit because they don't see quick results. Measure the process, not the prize. Example. Calls made, skills learned, assets acquired, experiments launched. Numbers reveal patterns. Improvement follows. 9. Act like a business. Manage personal finances like a company. Income channels, expense control, reinvestment strategy, quarterly review, long-term forecasting. The person who treats their life like a business
wins the game of business. 10. The execution framework. Repeat until wealthy. Final words. The transition from dreamers to doers. Quote, "Some people watch documentaries hoping to change their lives. Some write comments saying, 'Great video.' A very small number watch with a notebook and act." The difference between becoming rich and staying average is not luck, timing, or intelligence. It's daily execution governed by principles, fueled by identity, protected by discipline. If you're still here after 10 chapters, you're the kind of person who belongs with elite thinkers. So, here's something we kept only for those who finish. A silent rule of success. We have a bonus chapter for you. Some call it the law of attraction.
Bonus chapter: The Hidden Wealth Trigger. Only for those who stayed till the end. If you're still watching right now, you're different. While others clicked away, you stayed. That tells me something powerful. You're not just interested in wealth. You're ready to evolve into the kind of person who attracts it. That's why this chapter is not for everyone. It's a gift, only for those who made it this far. The unseen engine behind wealth. Some call it the law of attraction. But listen carefully. This is not about wishing. It's not about waiting for the universe to hand you money. This is about something proven in neuroscience. What you repeatedly focus on, your mind starts seeking in reality. There's a system in your brain called the reticular activating system, RAS. It decides what you notice and what you ignore. If you constantly think about problems, your brain will filter in more problems. But if you train it to focus on opportunities, you'll begin spotting chances others never see. It's not magic, it's mental programming. The check worth $10 million. In the early 1990s, a broke comedian wrote himself a check, $10 million, dated it 5 years into the future. Every day, he looked at it, visualized it, believed it. 5 years later, he signed a movie deal worth exactly $10 million. That man was Jim Carrey. Was it luck? No. He visualized so intensely, every day he started behaving like someone millions were meant for. Wealth activation formula. Most people wait to feel confident before they act. Winners act first. Confidence arrives later. A simple exercise. Pause the video here. Tonight before you sleep. 1. Write down one exact financial goal. Not, I want more money. Be specific. 1 million this year, or 100,000 income, or your desired number. 2. Under it, write one small daily habit that moves you toward it. 3. Read it every morning. And every day, act like the person who deserves it. The goal is not to believe you might get rich. The goal is to become someone who can't avoid it. 3 silent rules of attraction. 1. Clarity. You know exactly what you want. 2. Alignment. Your actions mirror your goal. 3. Persistence. You continue until the goal gets tired of resisting. People call it attraction. It's actually identity upgrade. Final insight. When your mind aligns with your goals, you stop chasing money. Money starts chasing you, not because you hoped for it, but because you became too focused, too consistent, and too valuable to be ignored. If you're still here, you are already ahead of 99% of people. You've proven you can stay till the end. Now, prove you can act. Screenshot this moment. Comment below, "I stayed till the end." And if you're truly ready to change your life, subscribe, because from here on, this channel is not just content. It's equipment for your future. In the next episode, we break down how millionaires think, how they act. Make sure you don't miss it.